Hey, what's going on, ladies? How you doing? Steve Williams here. Today I want to talk to you ladies about some of the reasons why you're having such a hard time trying to find someone to really marry you and see you as wife material. You know, one of the biggest problems that a lot of women have and they don't realize is that they are their own worst enemies when it comes to relationships and dating. The first reason is because a lot of you women trust too easy, you trust too soon. I have a saying that I always tell women that if you want a man who wants you for your brains, date a zombie. Because for some reason, a lot of you women miss the memo and you don't realize that men want sex. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say all men, but the majority of men see something in you that they're attracted to. The problem is that you become too trusting in those individuals and you start to give information out too early that you shouldn't give out. Now, again, I'm not one to sit here and tell you don't have sex, don't talk dirty on the phone, don't, start talking about the ways you like to have sex early on. But those are some of the things that hamper things, because most men will put you in the category of either wife material or booty call. And one thing that a lot of you women don't do is what I call background checks. And what I mean as in a background checks, you've got to do your homework on these guys, because a lot of guys today come in with what I call wolves in sheep's clothing. And what they do is they present themselves in one way when they really want something else on the back end. And the problem is a lot of you women don't really see that happening until it's too late. And that's why I always say for you ladies, go out there, enjoy yourself, have sex, do all the things that you want to do. Just make sure that you protect yourself, because at any point of stage, you should not let anybody inside you raw unless you have his last name. Another thing that a lot of you women do is being your own worst enemies is that you allow disrespect to come in. I've always said that, I love myself so much. I feel like I always go around and I will put a restraining order on myself, because I won't allow drama to come into my life. And just like I tell my male clients, I always tell my women clients the same thing. You've got to be a drama-free woman, which means you need to let that guy know if he brings any drama, any abuse, or any disrespect to your world, he's gone. And the problem is with a lot of women, they let disrespect slide until it manifests itself into something more, maybe abuse or something like that. Not saying that all guys abuse, but what I'm saying is that you got to draw a line and say, look, I have a standard. This is what I want. But you also have to realize that your degrees and things that you have are just accomplishments and have nothing to do with you as an individual when it comes to meeting and dating and having a relationship. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as you being your worst enemy is that you listen to bad advice. I always believe if you want to learn how to be a cook, you don't go to an accountant or a doctor. You have to find someone who is successful in what you want. And, a lot of people always ask me, well, why should I listen to you? Well, I used to be the whore. I used to be the slut. But right now, I'm the guy that's been with my wife since 1999 with no problems or issues. And all of our kids are in honor roll students and things like that. So there's a method to the madness, but the thing is, you must have to push your ego aside and your self-importance aside to understand that successful people will teach you success. But you also have to realize the system as a whole will not function if the parts are broken. So if there's something that you're doing wrong as far as listening to bad advice, that could be from your girlfriends who don't have a man, or a woman who's in a bad relationship, or any of these guys out here are really trying to sleep with you on the back end. They're going to tell you all these different things. But the problem is that I know it's hard for you to go to places and find people who are looking for you in your best interest. A lot of you read those Steve Harvey books. I mean, think about it. How many books do you have in your house right now on dating and relationships that are collecting dust because they don't work, because they're not giving you the honest truth about men and the things that you need to do. So, I mean, I don't mean to be bad when I say you are your worst enemy, but technically you are your worst enemy, because instead of learning more about the man and learning things that you need to do to protect yourself, you let yourself go because it feels good when you first meet that guy. Don't get me wrong. It's the beginning. Everything is great. You can't wait to talk to him on the phone. You look forward to hearing him on the text messages and things like that. But sooner or later, you have to start to draw a standard and have a standard and live by that standard. And don't let your emotions get in the way of logical decisions when it comes to men. Now, with that being said, I know that you can find love and you can find a happy relationship, but those things take time. And it's not the man, it's more you. It's things that you must change about yourself so you can present yourself in a way where he sees that, look, you're different from everybody else in the box. You go your own way, but in a right way, a traditional way, having traditional standards and things like that. But that's just all I want to say right now, just to cover those points, because sometimes, ladies, you just don't understand. Men are so easy, but sometimes you get in your own way. And that's why I always say you are your worst enemy when it comes to relationships.
One of the reasons that I've noticed why women aren't getting married today is that some of them like to hold a man hostage. Now, you may say, what do you mean by they holding a man hostage? You will be in a relationship with a woman and everything will be good at first. And then all of a sudden, her insecurities start rising up. And now the insecurities come from the past. It comes from her ex-boyfriend, ex-boyfriends, whatever. And what she does, she bring that into the situation that you got going on with her. And eventually, ladies, it gets to a point that if this guy's a real man, he's not going to put up with you getting on his nerves 24/7. Not because he done anything wrong to make you start to not trust him, but you're doing this based on previous relationships. You had a guy that cheated on you and he was doing all this foul activity through his cell phone. Now you have a new guy and every 5 minutes you're checking his cell phone. He's not doing anything wrong. He even gave you a hint if he's out there midnight creeping with a side chick. But yet you're still checking his phone. You're calling him, asking him where he is at. Like, if a man's going to cheat on you, I'm going to put this out here, man or woman, you can't stop him unless you handcuffed to him 24/7. So if you're not handcuffed to him, then they're going to do that if that's what they choose to do. Now they do that, walk away, go on by your business. But there are women who will tell a man, well, I've been through some stuff, so that's why I'm not easily trusted. And, this guy did this to me because, all these other excuses why what the other guy has done. But yet, why is it that we as the guys with you now have to suffer for it? What did we do? We didn't do anything to warrant that type of hostage taking within a relationship, because you're not letting that man be free to be himself. I'm sorry, a man should not be looking around every 5 minutes worrying about if you're going to show up somewhere, because you just don't trust him because the last guy you was with was outside the relationship cheating on you. A grown man should not be having his phone picked up and checked on like a child. If he pay that bill, that's his situation. And any man that sit there and let a woman do that, you need to check yourself. Because you need to tell her, look, you're going to be picking up this phone, well, we don't need to be together. Because you know what? You don't trust me. And it's no reason to be in a relationship if we don't have no kind of trust. Let's not go down that route. Because if you coming through the door and your boss asks you to work over 30 minutes and you get through the door, she say, where you been? You at doggone work. So I'm at work. My boss asked me to stay over. I don't believe that. Let me see. Let me check this. Let me check that. And not because you was out doing anything, it's because she had dealt with that in the past. And a man will always walk away. A man will always leave you because he's not going to put up with that. Because I'm sorry, they got women out here that will not give you that kind of headache. There's no reason to put up with that kind of headache with you. So what you need to do is get yourself together, or you're going to be by yourself. You're going to be one of the people that I'm going to be making a video about, talking about you married yourself. And you'll be marrying yourself because every time a man got involved with you, you held him hostage for the junk that the other dude done. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at that dude, the one who did it. Don't get mad with the guy you have now. You could have a good guy. He don't cheat. He don't do nothing. And I've talked to women like this. I have a real good man, but it just what happened in the past. And well, you know what? Leave that junk in the past. Leave it there. Because if you carry junk from the past into a relationship of today, and you're never going to have anything. And you're going to be by yourself. And you're going to be 20 by yourself, and 30 by yourself, and 40 by yourself, and so on and so on. That's why when I did that video about the woman that married herself, I couldn't believe some of the comments that women were saying about that. There was big up in that. And anytime you marrying yourself, somebody should clown you for that junk. Because it's ridiculous. Who would do something like that? I don't understand that. But aside from the fact, you won't get married like that. Because eventually the guy put up with it. But then if you run across somebody like me, I'm going to tell him, you grown man, you don't put up with that junk. Because if that woman could talk to you like that and treat you like that, then eventually she going to leave or cheat on you anyway. Because no woman respects a man she could run over. Well, a man she could tell what to do. She don't respect that at the end of the day. And she'll cheat on you with a guy that she can't tell what to do. A guy that's going to talk to her like crap. A guy to do all this kind of stuff to her. Because women are attracted to strength. They're attracted to men that command attention. It's just women in general. It has nothing to do with color or economic background. It's just in general. Now, say what you want, and you can keep doing what you want to do about checking a man's phone, asking where he going, why is he with his friend, and why all this other stuff. You can keep doing that. Like I say, you grown at the end of the day. Nobody can tell you what to do. But when you look up and you're by yourself, and your other friends have people, your other friends marry, your other friends going on vacation with their husband and their children and having a good time, and you still looking up and you're single, and you know, a lot of times as men, we see a chick and let's say you one of those attractive ones, and you say, why is she single? Man, she look good. And then you get to know her and say, oh, that's why she's single. I mean, she is hell on wheels. She gives a man a headache at the end of the day. Because, you know, the guys are so thirsty these days. It's just crazy. But when you see a woman, then all of a sudden she started to internalize and say, well, I'm choosing to be single. Man, to a point, maybe you are. But you can't find somebody to put up with that. And not all men is going to be a psychologist to you either. So you need to go on and fix your issues, let it go, so you can move on in the future. And because a lot of women do want to get married, they really do. They want to have a family, they want to have children, you know, with somebody who loves them. Because that single parent household stuff is just not good for the kids. It's not good for the woman itself. It's just not good for nobody. So you should only, in my opinion, male or female, have children within a marriage, and it takes two parents to raise a child. So a lot of women want that, but you're not going to get that by constantly being down a man's throat, constantly checking his phone, constantly asking where he at, where he going. If the man want to go to the gym, you know, oh, who at the gym? One of them hoes at the gym. You know, all of a sudden he on the weight bench and you just showing up out of the blue. Like, what are you here for? You don't even work out. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. Like, no man's going to put up with that, period. Well, no real man going to put up with that. The beta males will, but more so the alpha males, we won't put up with that. And you keep finding yourself by yourself. And, you don't want the beta male types. You know that. The weak, submissive, do anything you say kind of guys. You know, the ones you treat like your son and not a man. You know, you can get them, but the real men out here that you really want, you won't get that because they just refuse to put up with that. So leave the past in the past, let it go, and treat every situation different, because it is a different situation. I mean, the guy's not it's the same guy. They don't have the same social security number. They don't have nothing the same. Well, then give that guy a chance to be himself. Now, I'm not saying don't learn from the past. You can learn from the past all day long. You know, you can learn the signs of something, but just don't start being accusatory and just don't start acting crazy with people when they haven't done you anything to warrant that. And even if they are doing something to warrant that, then you just walk away and go do something else. You don't have to chase behind somebody like that. Because that's one thing I will never force nobody to do. I'm not going to force you to love me, and I'm not going to force you to be with me. I don't have to do that, because I feel what I put out in a relationship is my 110%. And if that's not good enough for you, then we have to do something else. Let me know what you think. We'll be back with part 2 next Friday.